everybody, thank you for joining me for today's video. Welcome back to Ink and Scripts Studio. In today's video I am going to be kind of experimenting with two new notebooks. They don't seem to be very popular in the fountain pen community or the journaling community for that matter, but I have come across them. A few people have mentioned them here and there, and I've decided to, try them out for myself. These are the two notebooks. They are both Pen & Gear. Pen & Gear notebooks are a Walmart brand, and I'm very excited to try them out to see what the paper is like and if I can add them to my collection of notebooks. So we've got two here. This one is a notebook journal. It is lined, and the cover is a bit of fabric. Also on the spine there is also a bit of fabric. Both notebooks are college ruled. This one, however, has 80 sheets and the pages are cream in color. This one, however, has gilded edges, and you do have the option of non-gilded edges. I've tried this one before and it is, pretty nice. I would say it is fountain pen friendly, and so I'm excited to get into this one with you guys. And then secondly, did I say this one is 8 by 11? So it's a little bit smaller than an A4, just about half an inch smaller than an A4. This one, however, is ring bound, but the sheets are perforated. It is advertised as heavyweight paper, and I'm just really excited to try this one out. The size on this one is much larger than a letter size. This is a 9 by 11. And the pages in here are white. They're very smooth, very smooth. Whereas the one in this notebook is a little bit smooth, but it does have a little bit more toothiness to it. And so we are gonna go right into it. I am not gonna do the swatch in the notebook itself. I am gonna remove the paper because they are both perforated, and I'm just gonna take it from there. The paper on this one is like really thick, surprisingly thick, I would say, but I am hopeful that it is going to perform well. All right, so the mediums I'm going to try out for both sheets of paper, starting with the notebook journal or the cream paper. I am going to be using an Ecoline brush pen, a Caran brush marker. Both of these are very wet. They're the wettest brush pens that I own. I do use Tombows, but those aren't as wet as compared to these. And so I'm going to try it out on this paper. I am also going to be trying fountain pen ink using a paintbrush. This is a size 4 watercolor paintbrush. And I'm also going to try these two smaller samples fountain pen inks. So this is the Platinum Carbon Black, and these are both Pilot Iroshizuku inks. Pilot Iroshizuku inks are known for being very wet inks, and I think they are fitting for experimenting on this. And I am also gonna try a fountain pen. This is a TWSBI medium. It is a wet pen and it is a large nib. It does put down a lot of ink on paper. And then lastly, I am gonna try a bit of pointed pen calligraphy using a nib and some walnut ink. All right, so let's get into it. I am going to start with the fountain pen. Like I said, this is the TWSBI Diamond 580. All right, actually, I think I'll do, for the sake of time, I'll do both papers. All right. And we'll take a look at the back of each sheet of paper once I've got everything swatched up. Next up, I'm gonna try the brush markers. We're gonna start with the Karin Brush Marker Pro. I'm also gonna do next the Ecoline brush pen. Very wet ink. I don't know if do you see that? Very wet brush pen. All right, and now we are gonna do the paintbrush ink swatch. And actually, since I already used the Yamabudo in my TWSBI, I won't be swatching that. I'm just gonna do the Iroshizuku Konpeki and the Platinum Carbon Black. So it seems to be drying pretty quickly on this one. And now we are gonna do the Konpeki. All right. So we've got our fountain pen done, or two brush pens, and a paintbrush ink swatch. Am I forgetting anything? I don't think so. Lastly, and I'm not sure how I feel about this, but I am gonna try a bit of pointed pen or dip pen calligraphy. But we'll see how this goes. I'm gonna start with the ring bound paper. And we're going to do the same thing. This paper is actually really smooth. I don't know if you can see that the ink is still sitting on top of the paper. I'll just upload a picture so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I think we can safely assume that the ink did not seep through our paper. All right, let's do the next sheet of paper. One last thing that I would like to do actually is just take my wet paintbrush with some water and just kind of run it across my page. Oop, there's a bit of ink in there. But this is just pure water, I promise. This is just water. I'll wash my brush in cleaner water. All right, so we are gonna just take a look at each sheet of paper and see what the back of it looks like. I'm not sure, and I probably should have tried this with a shimmer ink or something. I'm not really concerned about ink properties like sheening or shimmer showing on these paper. I just wanted something that is practical for daily use, like for journaling or practicing my calligraphy or penmanship. All right, so now we are going to take a look at the back of each sheet of paper. Wow. So we can see here, first of all, the fountain pen did pretty okay on this sheet. However, the brush pens, not so much. They did bleed through just a little. Like I said, they're very wet brush pens, so I'm not surprised that that happened. The fountain pen ink swatch, the platinum carbon black, did not seep through. However, the Pilot Iroshizuku ink did bleed through just a little bit. Similarly, the swatch of water that we applied using the paintbrush is showing through just a little. But like I guessed, the dip pen ink did not come through. It is still drying, as a matter of fact, and it is just sitting on top of the paper. So that is it for the ring bound paper. I think it did reasonably well, and I would definitely pick up a few of these just so I can use my dip pens and also my fountain pens. Maybe not so much the brush pens. And then lastly, we are going to take a look at the paper from this notebook. It also performed similarly to the other sheet of paper from the ring bound. Again, no fountain pen ink show through. We did have a little bit of, actually this is very little bleed through. The Eco line did not bleed through at all. Neither did the swatch of either fountain pen inks, nor the water. And lastly, the ink with my dip pen or calligraphy pen did not seep through. So I think this is pretty reliable paper for this notebook. Let's see them side by side. We've got ring bound over here on the left and journal notebook here on the right outperformed the ring bound sheet of paper. I would say they both feel pretty similar in thickness. However, the ring bound sheet is a little bit smoother than the journal notebook. For both paper, inks are still drying. The dip pen inks rather are still drying. As a matter of fact, you've still got a bit of platinum carbon black on this sheet of paper that is still waiting to dry. But I am impressed. I'm very happy with how each of these sheets of paper performed, and I definitely would pick up a few more of these notebooks. Now lastly, before I go, I don't believe I mentioned it before. Pricing. This one For 100 sheets, you pay $2 for this notebook. So this is a $2 notebook. I think that's very reasonable for this kind of paper. And I think if it handles fountain pen ink, which is water-based, then it will definitely handle rollerball pens, which are also water-based. The notebook journal is about $6. Not about, it is $6 a piece, and I think those prices are reasonable for the quality of paper that you get. I think they are a reasonable alternative for more popular fountain pen friendly paper like the Tomoe River paper, Midori MD, and the Nemesign. But if you are looking for more aesthetically pleasing journals or prettier journals, then these might not be for you. Although I do not think this one looks that bad. I think it is pretty. It does have some gold touches to it with the inside paper as well as on the edges. Okay, so that pretty much covers it for our little experiment today. 2 Pen & Gear notebooks from Walmart. We tested them out with a fountain pen ink, a brush pen, a dip pen or pointed pen, along with pointed pen or calligraphy ink. And I think they did really well. However, one outperformed the other just very slightly, but I think they do perform really well. And so if you are looking for alternatives, I would definitely recommend these. These are gonna be staples in my notebook collection. I do not think you can go wrong there. So that is it, guys. Thank you for joining me for today's video. I hope you were able to take away something from it or benefit from it in some way. And until next time, do take care. Have a happy holidays when it comes, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.